welcome and thank you for joining us on today's broadcast. It is my pleasure to have you. Well, we're here to basically take reactions and have conversations concerning the drama that has been unfolding over the last couple of hours, right? He was trailing His Excellency Peter Obi's visit to different parts of northern Nigeria where he actually was, donating boreholes, right? And so Arewa Renaissance Group, a socio-political organization dedicated to the advancement of northern Nigeria, or at least that's what they've claimed, they came out to warn His Excellency Peter Obi to stop erecting substandard projects in northern Nigeria, and then they criticized what they called his unkind gesture to the north. And I think it is particularly interesting that a group of people, or rather a faith group who have done nothing to advance northern Nigeria, who are actually very quiet when their elites are using their money to do whatever, have actually come out to say something as dumb as this, because this is someone who in his own will, out of his own goodwill, out of his own pockets, has gone to various parts of the north to actually give them the basic amenity of water, which the northern elites have actually refused to give them. We have people in northern Nigeria who are starving, who are unable to get access to basic water, and then they're coming out to talk about substandard projects. It's just very infuriating, because if you knew the projects that were standard, you should have erected it in the first place. But the reason why His Excellency Peter Obi is actually going there and actually, being able to do things like installing boreholes for them is because there is a lack of it in the first place. Now they're talking about substandard projects, and if they let's just even take the reactions from X, because a lot of people have come to say various things about this. This is from an APC influencer, not an influencer, reporting the incident. He said Arewa Group had warned Peter Obi and asked him to desist from erecting substandard projects in northern Nigeria. Arewa Renaissance Group, a socio-political organization dedicated to the advancement of northern Nigeria, has strongly criticized Peter Obi for his unkind gesture and issued a warning against the construction of substandard boreholes in the region. Even reading this, I'm particularly triggered, because what do they mean? Anyways, he went forward to say the warning comes in response to Peter Obi's recent construction of substandard boreholes in one of the northern communities. The group expressed their dissatisfaction with the project, particularly highlighting the fact that Peter Obi had inscribed his name on the borehole, indicating that he was responsible for its construction. In a statement, Arewa Renaissance Group stated, in quotes, "The borehole Peter Obi installed in our community is an eyesore. Furthermore, his act of inscribing his name on the project is an insult. If Peter Obi believes that such an unkind gesture and substandard project can win the hearts of northerners, then he must be joking." The group further challenged Peter Obi, asking if he would dare to construct a similarly substandard project in any community in southern Nigeria with his name attached. They asserted that they do not need his substandard and useless projects, and warned him against patronizing the northern region. Well, this is actually very disgusting to read, actually. He said, we are not people to be used to advance his dying political career. We can see through his charades, and when the time is right, we'll demonstrate to Peter Obi that we're not people to be told with. This should serve as a stern warning to Peter Obi never to insult northern Nigeria in such manner again. Well, I particularly think this is very, very laughable, because a faceless group is actually, somewhere, Twitter fingers, typing and saying all form of derogatory things. I think the politicians that are behind this group should actually come out and say it face to face, because we can tell that this group is probably one a group that has no bearing, because the northerners are actually going through stuff on a daily basis. We saw the place where His Excellency Peter Obi installed borehole last. These people sell livestock and they don't have access to clean water. You think they care about the person who is coming to put, or whose name is on the water? As long as they get to have access to the basic necessity of clean water, they don't actually care whose name is on it. So we can tell it's a battle of egos for this so-called Area Renaissance Group, and they're actually contradicting themselves by saying that they are actually working for the advancement of northern Nigeria, because if they are actually working for the advancement of northern Nigeria, they would hold their political elites responsible for the lack of basic social amenities, and they will also commend any individual, because His Excellency Peter Obi has no nothing to gain per se from all of this. He's just doing this out of his goodwill. He was elected by the people, but for some reason they did their propaganda, and we have another person sitting in Asoro currently, and then he actually comes out of his goodwill to actually, you know, identify with their struggles and profile solutions, and all of a sudden people have a lot to say about it. So I think it's particularly disgusting, and it is very, very you know, laughable that they've come out to actually say things like this. Or let's take Comrade Aisha Yusufu's reaction. Of course, she's very much you know, disgusted by this development. She said, "I hear that an Arewa group has come out to ask Peter Obi to desist from digging boreholes around the northern part of the country, when they should be ashamed that such places, with all these so-called democratic numbers they have, break your pact with poverty." Well, that is actually very true. She actually proceeded to say, "I was sent this video on the 31st of March of the borehole Peter Obi donated in Fage in Kanu. Fage is the heart of Kanu city. I was heartbroken. I grew up in a community like this, and over 40 years later, it is still the same. These girls that are happy that they have water, they're not interested in the silliness on Twitter, especially those who want to have them in perpetual suffering. I'm glad you all know that Peter Obi is the winner of the 2023 elections and holding him accountable as the president. Since an illegality was allowed to hold and he was not sworn in, anything he's doing is within his personal capacity, and I'm more focused on how many communities he has donated boreholes to rather than how fanciful they are. If he had been allowed his rightful win, would not accept these ones with taxpayers' money, especially the ones they built for you all with almost 200 million. Well, she was referencing the fact that in the 2024 budget and how we're discussing its discrepancies, we had boreholes and street lights actually being budgeted for over 180 million. Some we saw 180 million, we saw 184 million. Some even transcended this rate. Some went to 200 million for things as basic as street lights and borehole. If not for anything, we should be thanking His Excellency Peter Obi for the fact that he has shown us that it is not actually, we don't need 180 million or 200 million to get basic water or basic borehole. So I think people who are coming out to say all of this are just people who are hiding under this faceless organization and masquerading themselves, because they're actually coming out to just, you know, say things that are unnecessary. The point is that people need water, and the Northerners are glad that, you know, they are getting water. They don't care whose name is on the GP tank that has the water. They just care that they have access to clean water. So we've gotten a lot of, you know, reactions from X, and this one is from Dare with the username Kumi Dre. He says, "Borehole challenge. You're not happy with what Peter Obi constructed. Start constructing your own. Show us that you are better." Mad people. Well, very interesting, because it is very true, because we have reports we can even see on the screen where an earlier report said inside Kaduna community where animals and residents drink from the same stream. So it's very sad that we're coming out to discuss which one is fancy and which one is not fancy. Like, we have people who are elected who are actually collecting taxpayers' money, who have different allocations, and yes, basic water does not exist. And so if you don't think the one His Excellency Peter Obi constructed is fancy enough, that is where you come in. That is when your representatives come in to actually construct the one that they think is you know, fanciful, or the one that is up to standard, because you cannot not do anything and then come out to have a lot of opinions about the people who are doing stuff. So kudos to His Excellency Peter Obi. And of course, I know he's not paying attention to the naysayers. It just shows that some of these northern elites, it is actually important to them that their people remain impoverished, because they like to weaponize hunger. We have a lot of almajiris, out of school children. There are even people who are actually you know, there every day. We hear stories of banditry, and their governments would rather have money paid to bandits and all of that instead of financing basic supply of social amenities. And so for these people that are saying this, they are actually very, very you know, they've had their priorities wrong. And then another person, Festus Okunola, says the truth is that the northern elite if the northern elites had cared about their region, there would be potable water for everyone. Using politics to criticize the borehole given by Obi is nothing but running away from their own responsibility. We also have this from Ken Pela, who happens to be the Labour Party gubernatorial candidate for Delta State in the last election. And then he replied to the people who were saying that the borehole constructed by His Excellency Peter Obi were substandard. He said, "I beg, show me the ones where all the big man where they in a region, we don't make plenty money from government, and we no gets to spend money, enter flights, don't commission. I beg, show me you." And then he ends with the hashtag, "Thank you, Peter Obi," right? And then this is from one, you know, permit me to say where though. He says Peter Obi spent 2 million in flights to Kaduna, then traveled to Zaria to commission 300,000 naira project, the economic guru. And this is meant to be sarcastic in a way to actually, floor His Excellency Peter Obi. And I think his maths is probably going by the arithmetic or the Milocon maths, because we all know that His Excellency from recent, except when he was campaigning, always flew economy. And economy is over 100,000. So we don't know where he got his figure of 2 million naira, and it is actually showing, because after all, Daniel Bala said the moment you join APC you lose your cognitive reasoning abilities, and so we can see this in display. And I just urge Obedience Worldwide to pay no attention to them. We can see on the screen residents of northern Nigeria drinking from very dirty and stale water, filthy water particularly, and these are the people who they think are actually caring, whose name is on the tank. This is from Miss Pell. She says, not people whose community water source is like this having the most negatives to say about boreholes dug by Obi, which is my point all this while, because they sincerely do not care. Even Bashir Ahmad actually came out to ridicule him, or say something sarcastic about it. He said, wow, this looks very presidential. Thank you, His Excellency Peter Obi. Your Vice President, Dr. Dati Baba Ahmed, who is from Zaria, and the whole community must appreciate your gesture. My only curiosity here is about the source of the water. Well, we can see the sarcasm laced in that tweet when he says this looks very presidential. But to be honest, I think he's just one of those people who actually are trying to shy away from responsibility, because you're an APC chieftain. What have you done to curb the hunger and the lack of basic social amenities that's going on in the northern Nigeria? All you have to do is come out on Twitter fingers, saying a lot about people who are actually performing, even when they're not performing in their constitutional offices or the offices where Nigerians elected them to be. He's still participating, still doing his thing. The crazy thing is that after all the injustice that was meted to His Excellency Peter Obi during the last election, and all the tribalism card and religious card that was played during the last election, it is actually pertinent, or it wouldn't be surprising if he had come out to say, you know what, I'm angry at Nigerians. But no, he had actually come out to still identify with them even after we saw what happened in the polls. So this is from Saki, another weirdo, coming to say, why is Peter Obi traveling to northern villages to construct boreholes and prominently inscribing his name on them? What is the point of constructing boreholes and labeling them with his name? Is it solely for political gain? First, let's start by saying that there is no election at hand. Election is actually way in 2027, and campaign hasn't even started. So the idea that he's doing all of this for any political gain is not just shallow, but it actually shows the lack of cognitive reasoning skills on the part of that guy tweeting that, because actually he has nothing to gain, at least at the moment, from all of this. He's just identifying with the struggle, identifying with the fact that there are people who are out here living who actually have no access to clean water, and that is what he's just trying to say. So coming out to say, and then what's the problem with him inscribing his name? The other day we saw food items being distributed all around the country, and we had them with the inscription, branded nylons of Chief Tinubu on it, and he had his pictures. They even spend more in branding the items than actually the projects or the food items they are sharing. And we don't have people coming out to say all of this, but I'll just end up with this. The point is that His Excellency Peter Obi is the clout. He is the person that actually, if you mention his name, everything just trends. And so I understand why they are actually coming out to use his name for clickbait. Because currently in the Nigerian media space, or Nigerian political media space, if you've not mentioned His Excellency Peter Obi, you have not started. So they are just trying to garner from his popularity and garner from all of his, traffic he gathers just by the mention of his name, right? But kudos to His Excellency Peter Obi. We at Obedience Family TV, we actually are commending him for his resolution to actually be of good use to the people of Nigeria and people of northern Nigeria particularly. We urge him to pay no mind to all the naysayers, and then we know that he's actually doing this in the best interest of Nigerians. Well, moving on, His Excellency Peter Obi, of course, has actually turned deaf ears to all this drama as usual, because he's only focused on a new Nigeria that is possible. Well, he has taken to his ex account to actually condole with the family of the Nigerian actress Saratu Gidado Daso, who happened to be an actress in Kannywood. She is of northern extraction. She lost her life recently, and in this tweet he was condoling with the family. He said, "It is with deep sadness that I received the shocking news of the passing of one of the veteran Nigerian actresses, Saratu Gidado Daso. She was an outstanding figure in Nigeria's viable entertainment sector, and her contributions to the growth of Kannywood has left an indelible mark in the industry. She was an embodiment of talent which endeared her to many fans. Through unwavering dedication to her craft, she developed her acting skills, by which she remained celebrated till death. Her absence will be sorely felt in the entertainment industry and by her fans. As we mourn the loss of Saratu Gidado Daso, let us also celebrate the legacy she leaves behind. Her impact on Kannywood and the wider film industry will continue to be felt for years to come. Our thoughts and prayers are with her family, friends, and all those whose lives she touched. May God Almighty forgive her sins and grant her eternal rest, and grant her family, the entire Kannywood and entertainment industry, and indeed all of us, the fortitude to bear her irreplaceable loss." Signed, P.O. Well, condolences to the family of the bereaved, because we've actually seen that this woman was someone who actually was very, very popular, at least if you watch the Kannywood movies, right? And so we pray for the fortitude to the family so they are able to bear this irrecoverable loss. And as usual, His Excellency Peter Obi is not paying any attention to the people who are saying all of this, because he's just busy doing good. He's busy trying to make sure that a new Nigeria, which he has promised Nigerians, is made possible and is brought into fruition. So lastly, to the people who have a lot to say to His Excellency Peter Obi, well, I think they have a lot to say, because we know His Excellency Peter Obi is not about to stop his good deeds. And if their issue is that he inscribed his name, I'm of the opinion that next time he actually doesn't just inscribe his name on the borehole, but also on the tap, precisely, because this is not the first time we have seen Nigerian politicians brand whatever. This is actually funny, because this is his personal money, so he has every right to brand it with his name. It's not like he's using taxpayers' money and branding it in his name like our other politicians do. So he's very well within his rights to brand his name. And particularly the people who are beneficiaries of this water, they actually care less about whose name is on the borehole. They care about getting good and clean water to feed themselves and to feed their livestock. And well, to wrap up the show, it is actually necessary that I bring forth the gospel of His Excellency Peter Obi throughout the campaign season and beyond, which is that Nigeria needs to move from consumption to production. And so in that spirit, we at the Obidient Family TV, we have taken up the initiative to begin the Obidient Family Multipurpose Cooperative, and it has gathered momentum across the various local governments in Nigeria, as people have taken the bold step to register and pioneer this multipurpose society in their local government. So if you want to be part of the people who are redefining our options against 2027 and putting up this grassroots structure that will be necessary or instrumental to our win in the 2027 elections, all you have to do is actually join the link or follow the link on the description box of this video. The link is going to take you to a WhatsApp platform where you have well-meaning Nigerians and fellow Obedients who are actually pioneering this noble cause. So join the link, have conversations, and then, like and share this video, because that is all you can do to actually help us amplify our voices. Until we come your way next time, don't forget to share this video, drop a comment, and drop a thumbs up. Bye for now.